What's up, y'all? Yeah, it's me again. I really just want to. I I hate beating this dead horse. First of all, I'm sorry for my sound quality. I don't have my mic with me, and these are cheap headphones. So I'm trying to articulate as much as possible and trying to remember to articulate as much as possible, but sometimes it just doesn't register. So I do apologize if you've watched the last like two or three episodes, but hopefully that didn't deter from what the meaning of the episode was. So I just gotta. I mean, this may be the last time. It may not. Here's my issue, and I discussed this with Ant when we were on our show. It is that we just make stuff up. We really just do. We just say things. We say, hey, Canales needs to be able to start with his own quarterback. Well, in theory, if that's your case, right? He's doing it. If he is not doing it, you're saying that he doesn't have any say on how his team is uh, how we approach the team building, right? Because Canales has stated in front of everybody multiple times that Bryce is our quarterback. I believe in Bryce. Having a quarterback now that I believe in Bryce makes our playbook sexier. Continuously has said that Bryce is his guy. So in theory, well, Alex, that's just coach speak. Oh, okay. Well, he's on the roster. He's the starting quarterback. Dan said that he's like a son to him. Tepper goes, we've got our quarterback. Nobody's ever said, we've got our coach. I just don't understand how you say, well, he has to get his own guy. Well, he's saying that Bryce is his guy. Dan's saying that Bryce is his guy. So if he isn't, then that's on Dave. That's not on Bryce. I mean, they could both go. I'm not saying that Bryce is good or anything. I'm just saying that either Dave is not a real head coach and has no respect in the in Carolina, from Tepper or from Morgan, and they just ignore his wants, or he really likes Bryce and he just can't win regardless. Also, defense is still bad. Well, it's Evero's defense, and Canales is the offensive guy. No, no, it's not how head coaches work. It goes head coach. Below them are Is and Evero. So if the defense is bad, it trickles up to Canales in theory. So it's not Evero's defense, it's Canales' defense. If he doesn't like Evero's defense, he fires Evero or he jumps in. So just on those two situations alone, you're saying that Canales has picked his quarterback. He basically said, he didn't basically said, he did say that Bryce is his quarterback. So he picked him. And if you say, well, Canales doesn't control the defense, it's Evero, then he ain't the head coach anyway. So one way or another, if somebody's the problem because it starts from the top, it just has to be Canales. Like this is it really it just ain't complicated. It, 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 if a hedge fund has a bad 3 quarters, this CEO is fired. It's not like, oh well, these three portfolio managers are the problem, but I'm not going to get rid of them. Well, you're not going to get rid of them. Then you're the problem because you're not getting rid of them. Sorry, with great power comes great responsibility. So if you you can't do it with the people that, in theory, you have hired or kept, then it's on you. That I just wanted to start off as a baseline. But if for some reason, just say that we're just weird Panthers fans and we talk ourselves into, well, Tepper's involved and he wants to keep Evero for the comp pick, so he's making Dave. So next year, the Dave can have everything that he wants, including a new quarterback and a new defensive coordinator, and then everything will be all right. What? Just gonna give up on 2 years for a third round pick? Huh? Yeah, really? They're gonna give massive contracts to J.C. Horn and Derek Brown, extend Moton, spend all this money on the defense for Canales to put all this faith in Canales for next year, where they get to spend more money on a new quarterback or draft a quarterback with their first round pick. Like, you see how weird this plan is? Like how really weird that sounds. We're the only team that even interviewed Canales. Without Bryce, he's won one game. It, he, his his team is all like every it says like if you go to PFF, like if you're a PFF member, go to pff.com and look up everybody on that offense's PFF there. You got one in the top 14 out of all 11 guys. You got one, and that's 10, who's 12. That ain't based on talent. We don't we know these guys are talented, especially the offensive line, but they're not coached well. Play calling isn't good. There's drops. There's all sorts of things. But for some weird reason, and it really comes down to internal prejudice. Bryce is bad because he's small. Well, Sam Darnold is a big dude, and he went to bad organizations and he failed. He goes to a good organization in San Francisco, and he comes in, he plays well. Then he goes to the Vikings, he goes to the playoffs, and now he's a starting quarterback in Seattle. I, big big guys get the same thing. Actually, let's talk about that. Let's talk about big guys, big guys, because we as Panther fans probably, I would say, at least half of Panthers fans really wanted us to draft Justin Fields. I was like obsessed about it, and it's really funny that it comes down to that because they are eerily similar in their careers. They both had a coach from their first year get fired and then inherited a rookie head coach. So I'm just going to go over their stats, all combined for their first 2 years, because I really don't want to do everything by everything. So Bryce Young, for his first 2 years, is 6-22 as a player, has total yards of 5,782, 32 total touchdowns, 19 interceptions, 16 fumbles, and 32 drops. Justin Fields through his first two is 5,675 yards, 44 touchdowns, 21 interceptions, 28 fumbles, and 34 drops from his receivers. Run that back. You have 5,762 to 5,695. 32 total touchdowns to 44 total touchdowns. 19 interceptions to 21 interceptions. 16 fumbles to 28 fumbles. 32 drop passes from his receivers, 34 drop passes from receivers. And then you have, they're both at 60% completion percentage, and Bryce is 6 and 22. Justin Fields is 5 and 20. And Panthers fans were banging the table for Justin Fields, even when he was playing, banging the table. They're the same guy, pretty much. And then guess what happens? Eberflus moves on from him, and then next year he gets fired. Yeah, because when you blame the quarterback, then they find out it's just you. Robert Saleh blamed Zach Wilson. Pat Shermer blamed Eli or Daniel Jones. It's a tale as old as time. You like Matt Rule. Matt Rule went through Bridgewater, then he got his guy Darnold, and they were dumb enough to let him get another guy. And we're gonna do that all over again. Arthur Smith had Matt Ryan, then he went and got Marcus Mariota, and then he had Desmond Ritter. It was always Arthur Smith. And we sit here and watch. The defense is still bad. Receivers still can't get open. Your first round pick that you picked can't catch a pass. Has 8 total yards, I think, receiving. Nobody's open. Bryce has to make every play. Like literally, he has to hit windows like crazy. No one gets open outside of 10. Your scheme is terrible. I sat there and watched the Texans run a bootleg with Dalton Schultz getting open, wide open. I haven't seen a Panthers receiver wide open in years. Tucker Kraft in the end zone, just saying, "Hey, throw me the ball, please." Nice. We're sitting here. Chuba Hubbard has 95 total yards rushing. 95. I just don't know how we sit here and watch this. We really sit here and watch this, and we say Bryce is a ball. It's a ball. When we watched Justin Fields, who was in his second year the MVP, ninth pick for MVP. He won 3 games, and we said he's the ninth pick for MVP. I just read you the stats how close they were. He won 3 games. He went ninth in MVP voting, and and they blamed it on Eberflus. They were blaming it on Eberflus. Like, then just look at Eberflus now, and look at Justin Fields now. Justin Fields is a starter somewhere else. Eberflus isn't in conversation for a head coach because duh, it's hard to get a starting quarterback. Head coaches come around all the time. Well, we don't want to go through this carousel. Like, what? The, look at the Niners. Look at what the Niners did. Look what the Chargers have done. Look what the Broncos have done. And everybody's like, I really just don't want to go through the head coaching search again. Well, the good teams do it until they find the one that's good for them. Everybody you see that was like, look what the Texans were doing. They were in the playoffs. The Broncos were doing. They were in the playoffs. Look what the Chargers were doing before Harbaugh. They're in the playoffs. The Chiefs are doing it before Reed. They're in the playoffs. Look at the Bills did before McDermott. They're in the playoffs. Like, it, like we make stuff up. We make it up. Oh, I just don't want to go through this coaching care. So you want to just keep Matt Rule when Teddy Bridgewater seemed to do just fine, throwing for like 600 yards in his first two games. Sam Darnold look started 3-0 first year. Here, Baker Mayfield. No, Darnold's problem. Look at Baker. Okay, here's Baker. Baker's the problem. He needs they cut him. I think I'm pretty sure they cut Baker, and then he got picked up by the Rams, like off the street, won a game because McVay is a good coach. I really can't think of any time this has ever worked out in the favor of the team, where the coach gets off the quarterback, gets their own guy, i.e., Arthur Smith for Matt Ryan, who's in the Super Bowl, Daniel Jones, who uh, replaced Eli, who's in the Super Bowl. I, I just Josh McDaniel said, "Hey, Derek Carr's the problem," and chose Aiden O'Connell. Like, and the Raiders were like, "Oh yeah, cool, nice." What? Like he said, Jimmy Garoppolo, even though you just went to a Super Bowl, you're a problem. Derek Carr, even though the fan base loves you, you're the problem. I just it's if someone can give me an example, and this is like I know Pete Carroll ended up getting off of Russell Wilson. But Pete Carroll won a Super Bowl. He has that respect to do it. And you know what? He got Geno Smith in, who guess what was dumped because he was the problem. And you don't see the coach. You don't you don't see Rex Ryan anymore. You don't see Adam Gase anymore. You don't see Matt Rule anymore. You don't see Eberflus anymore. Why? You don't see Robert Sala anymore because you play the blame game. You're the problem. Like we just don't think. We don't. Yeah, yeah. It's like get his guy, and it's like like Bill. But his defense is still going to be bad, and his receivers are only, there's going to be one good receiver on the team. Oh yeah, but what about Coker? Yeah, when's Coker on the field? And I know everybody loves Coker, but at the end of the day, maybe he's a mid-level wide receiver too, which is great. He's undrafted, and us having mid-level wide receiver twos, we don't have that very often. So I know why we're excited. Man, what would it be like to have a coach that scheme people open? Like, oh, Bryce has to cut down on the turnovers. Trevor Lawrence has as many turnovers as he does. Geno Smith has more interceptions. Browning had three in the game, and they still won. Why? 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 Because they have a good coach. I just, yeah. All right, that's it. I just want to give the Fields Bryce comparison because for some reason Fields is an MVP candidate when he has less wins, same stats as Bryce. People love Fields and people hate Bryce. And they were the same player. And they had the same amount of wins. And they both had a coach that was fired year one. And they both had their rookie head coach. And, and then the Bears were a bad organization, chose the coach over Fields. We're also a bad organization, so I could see why we would choose Canales over Bryce, but it's never, ever worked. So, my opinion, get off the coach. You can get off Bryce too. I'm not saying you keep Bryce. I'm saying good coaches win with bad quarterbacks. Bad quarterbacks don't usually win with good coaches. And with bad coaches. Like, have you looked at Justin Herbert's record before Harbaugh? Like, I don't know. Okay, well, that's it. Till next time. Peace.